Michael McAvoy. I was born in New York City. My mom was 100% Italian. Dad was George. He was 100% Irish. He was a World War II Marine and then became a New York City cop. We grew up fearing my father. He ruled with an iron fist. He was very disciplined. There were neighborhood fights, one neighborhood against the other, and you had to be tough. You had to show that you were tough even if you weren't. Tough guys were respected. Tough guys were, you were afraid of them. I wanted that aura that my brothers and some of the other guys in the neighborhood had, especially my brother John. I went to a grammar school that was Catholic, and then I also went to a high school that was Catholic. After high school, I stopped going to church. I didn't develop a relationship with God, and especially Jesus. I wound up getting a job in Manhattan. You start at the bottom and had to work your way up, and that's what I did. I used to go to the stock exchange twice a day. I was always downtown. Everything seems to be going well, and then that day shows up.
This just in, we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
I'm sitting in my office and I see a lot of people walking by and I'm like, what's going on? Because it was like nervous energy, you could just feel it. And they said a plane hit the Trade Center. So I get up from my desk and I walk past these cabinets and then I look out the window and I saw the smoke. So I run back to my desk because Jimmy at that time worked on the 104th floor of World Trade Center 1. Jimmy and I met in first grade. We had an instant bond. We went to high school together. When I got married in 1998, Jimmy was my best man. He was a very caring, generous, great friend. I had hoped he was under where it went in and I was able to get out somehow. Just as I turned towards the window, the whole office screamed and people fell to the ground as they watched the second plane hit the other building. This lady grabbed my hand and said, maybe it's time to pray. My brother John was a firefighter. I decided to go to my brother's firehouse. As I got about 3 blocks away, I see fire trucks, I see firemen in front of his firehouse, and my head is spinning looking at every face. I want to see my brother John, I want to see my brother John. So now I'm thinking, I'm gonna go to hospitals. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if my brother and best friend are in a hospital. And they're handing out lists of the injured. And if there's ever a day you wanna grab a piece of paper and look at a list and see a loved one's name on a list, it was that day. Because you wanted them to be hurt. Because the other way was they weren't gonna be alive. So, on that day, they were both killed. I lost the 2 most important men in my life and that I miss every single day of my life. I didn't blame God, but I didn't understand why. Test came back positive for cancer. We're sitting in front of the oncologist and he starts telling us, you probably won't survive a year. And, there's nothing I can do for you. And I just looked at him and said, well, you don't know my God. My God is bigger than my cancer. And I prayed. As the day I'm about to have surgery, I go into the hospital, I go to the prep floor, and I turn the corner, and Pastor Rustin Rosello was standing there, and he looks at me, and I look at him. Rustin had no idea that was the date of my surgery. So here again is God showing up. Rustin comes in and prays a healing prayer over me, and I was just like, this is unbelievable. I've been tested 3 times since radiation. There's no cancer in my body, and there's only one power that could remove my cancer. God's there, and he shows up big, like he did for my cancer. He showed up big, like he did for 9/11. He showed up big. It's just over and over and over again, when I look back at my life, how God has just been right beside me, holding my hand the whole time. Growing up where I grew up, tough guys were guys I wanted to emulate. And here I am later in life where Jesus is the person I look up to. And that tough guy image I have was nothing but an image. It's someone I wanted to be, but God had these other plans. And I'm living my life, and I'm shining a light on God. And that's my focus.